Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Who can replace Zlatan Ibrahimovic? Now, yes, we can all have a little mood about it and say, he's not going anywhere in the summer. What are you on about, Mark? It's just the agent. It's just the agent trying to get a better deal. He could go in the summer, but let's pretend he's not going into the summer. Let's pretend Gary Neville's got it right and he's not in a loving with Arsenal Fan TV and he's just speaking the truth for once. The great pundit that he is, saying that in the next 18 months, Manchester United do need to sort out the replacement for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, which is 100% the truth. I'm not going to move away from that. We do need to sort out a replacement for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and tonight we will talk you through it. Basically, I think at this moment in time, there's 5/6 top candidates for that position. For the position of who can replace Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And at some point, I can't get the words out, at some point he is going to go. Now, whether it's in the next few months in the summer, that is open for debate. I can't argue with that. Whether it's in 18 months' time, that might lean itself and kill some of these options that we're going to talk about in a moment. But first of all, I just want to say that let's get the big one out of the way. Let's get him out of the way. Antoine Griezmann. Antoine Griezmann, I believe, will sign for Manchester United in the summer. But is he a replacement for Zlatan Ibrahimovic? No, he isn't. And I think anybody who thinks he is, I don't know whether you've been watching Atletico Madrid much over the last couple of years especially, or even France to that certain extent, although they are managed, in the words of Eric Cantona, by a water carrier who has no idea, Didier Deschamps. But Antoine Griezmann, he's 26 in March, just if you want to know his age. He was going into them prime years. Fantastic player. Started off as a winger and has adapted to, I would call, a Rooney replacement. Hint, hint, number 10. He's not a number 9. He is not a number 9 by any stretch of the imagination. He's 5'9". Zlatan is what? 7'10"? No, it's about 6'5". So I like an attacker, and you know where I'm going to go here. I like an attacker who is... He's got some height about him. He's got some strength about him. Griezmann does not play as the out-and-out striker for Atletico Madrid. You've got Torres, and I'm going to get his name totally wrong, Carella, something like that. But he's not the number 9, and he's not the number 9. It's like Batman. He's not the man we need right now. Batman is the man we need right now. No, Batman, Dark Knight. He is the man we need, but not the man we need right now. Well, we do need Griezmann right now, but he's not the man to replace Zlatan. Messed that up. He's 5'9". He's intricate. He's the Rooney replacement. Rooney's going to go in the summer. Griezmann's going to be his replacement. Fantastic player. You've got 3 or 4 months to watch. Not 3 months. Get it right. You've only got 3 months to watch Griezmann at Atletico Madrid. I suggest you go and do it. He's not the Zlatan replacement. He's not number 9. It's all about your opinion. But I see it on Twitter a lot. Who's going to replace Zlatan? People come up with Griezmann. No, he's not. He's not going to replace Zlatan. Griezmann's not a number 9. You're out-and-out striker in the Premier League. Or even in Europe, that effect. He is the man who can play behind the striker. At the moment, he can play the Rooney Mata role, Mkhitaryan role, the Martial role. He can play all of those. Ideally, he's in behind the striker. So that's Griezmann. He's gone. He's not the man to do it. No way. Aubameyang. I love Pierre... I forgot his middle name. Aubameyang. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I love him. Absolutely love him. I think he's absolutely... I've said absolutely twice. I hate absolutely fabulous, by the way. He is the right man for Manchester United. 100%. If you want to replace Zlatan, you replace him with Aubameyang. He is 6'1". He is 28 in June. He's in them prime years. You could get 3, 4, 5 years out of him. He is fast. He can score goals off both feet. He is powerful. He is perfect as the replacement for Zlatan. But the only downer about Aubameyang is he's the perfect replacement for Zlatan this summer. He will not be at Dortmund next year. He's going somewhere this summer. And if Zlatan's staying at Manchester United for another year, which I think he will, we won't be getting Aubameyang because we won't get Aubameyang and have Zlatan. If Aubameyang was going to stay at Dortmund for another year, then maybe when Zlatan goes at the end of next season, which is when I think he will go, he'd be the right man for the job. If Zlatan does go this summer, and there is a chance, then maybe we can do a deal for Aubameyang. But Aubameyang's always been quite vocal about the fact that he wants to go to Real Madrid. Although if you listen to Real Madrid, they don't really want him. So this summer is the summer to get Aubameyang. There's a question in itself as to whether you would let Zlatan go this summer to get Aubameyang. And I personally do think it is a debate to have, because I think at 27/28 into the new year, new season, what he offers for 3 or 4 years over what, we know Zlatan, if he doesn't go in the summer, he's only got 1 year left in him, and he has been fantastic. But Aubameyang is a very, very interesting one. I'd love to, and what I would say is, if you're not watching live, and I'm going to pick up on some of your comments now on the live comments, if you're not watching live, in the comments, get in below, because I've got a few players to get through here. Aubameyang. I mean, Tango Dan TT's on about Lukaku. I'm going to bury him in a minute. You're going to get buried if you like Lukaku. Don't wait. Zlatan's not leaving Colin Cameron. We're talking about the replacement for Zlatan, which, you know what, is going to be in the next 18 months. It could be in the summer, or it could be next summer. But if you are a club of status and when you want to go places like Manchester United, you've got to have a contingency plan. And the contingency plan cannot be based within 6 months. Whether you work in any sort of business, you should have a contingency plan. The longer you've got that plan in place, the better, no matter what business you run. And we know, no matter what, Zlatan, I don't think will go in the summer, but he will go. Next year will be his last year. So we've got 18 months to sort... Well, it's less than 18 months, isn't it? It's about 13, 14, 15 months to sort out a replacement for Zlatan. And that's what this show is all about. Let's sign Bravo up front, says Daniel Sheehan. Dybala, says The Great Channel. He's a good shout. No one can replace Zlatan, says OLR1RK. You know what, mate? I think you're absolutely spot on. 6'5", he's got absolutely everything. He's very hard to replace. You can't go much wrong with Aubameyang, though. Right, the next one might cause you a little bit of a surprise. Lukaku. Somebody mentioned him. There he is. I don't want Lukaku. I don't want Lukaku at Manchester United. Lukaku was got rid of by Jose Mourinho at Chelsea because he's not a top 4 striker. And I personally don't believe he's a top 4 striker. I think this is where the Premier League myth starts to come into account, where teams like Spurs go and play Stoke at the weekend and they batter them 4-0 at home, but 3 days before they get turned over by a Belgian side in the Europa League. I think there's a massive gulf of difference between Premier League, the best brand and the best entertainment in the world football, against how it actually measures up against the rest of the world. The Premier League actually isn't that good against most European leagues, technically, but as an entertainment insular package, it is fantastic. And Lukaku sits in that insular package if you take away the top 4 sides. He's a flat track bully, a big game bottler. We saw him play Manchester United at the end of the season last year in the semi-final of the FA Cup and also in a league game as well. And he's a big game bottler. He's not, I like Lukaku, but he's not coming to Manchester United, regardless of Mini Raiola being his agent, the same as Zlatan, Mkhitaryan and Pogba. He's not coming to Manchester United. Mourinho got rid of him for a reason. He's 24 years of age in May. He's got loads of Premier League goals. He's 6'3", so he's got that power and everything like that. I've watched a lot of Lukaku. Personally, I don't rate him. I think, yes, he is a very good Premier League striker, but so was Kevin Phillips. Doesn't mean he should stay for Manchester United. He's slow to get going with his pace. He's very one-footed, and he doesn't do it against the top 4. And that's Manchester United. You know what? We're not managed by Van Gaal or Moyes anymore. We're managed by Mourinho, and that is going to mean in the next 12 months we're in the right top echelon of Premier League football. We're in the right top 2, and we're going to be challenging in the top area of European football. For me, Lukaku doesn't do it. Nicholas Anderson has contributed a £5 through the Super Chats. I've got to read it out anyway, but he makes a good point. Whilst I don't want Lukaku, Mourinho might have changed his mind on him in the same way he changed his mind on Mata. Thoughts? Well, Mata was there on a plate for him. He came to a club where Mata was. It's a bit different to coming to a club and thinking, I'll sign Mata. I don't think Mourinho ever would have signed Mata, but I do agree that he's had his mind changed by him. I don't think he's going to go and sign Lukaku. I don't want him to. I think people get baffled by the Premier League and the fact that he scored a load of goals. And like I said, Darren Bent, Kevin Phillips scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. I never wanted them at Manchester United. Same with people like John Hartson. And Lukaku, he's doing great things at his level. He's not a top 4 striker. I don't want him anywhere near Manchester United. Which brings me on to Harry Kane, the next one. And this is even more recent than Lukaku. Harry Kane, okay? I mean, let's just talk about Lukaku for a minute because I didn't mention the values. We know that to get Griezmann, it's going to cost us 90 million. To get Aubameyang, because it's the German league, I think we could get him for about 55, 60 million. I think he's worth as much as Griezmann, but I think just because of German league and the money and everything like that, I think you'd get him a little bit cheaper. You get a better value for money. So I think you get Aubameyang for about 60 million, which is massive value for money. You get Lukaku for probably more than you get Aubameyang. Definitely the same, 60 million, maybe more. Who do you want, Aubameyang or Lukaku? Lukaku is going to go at like massive money, 60, 70 million, because of the Premier League adaptation, the myth. Oh, you got to pay loads for him. I don't want Lukaku. Harry Kane's probably going to cost you about £80 million. Because let's not forget, Harry Kane's just signed a new contract at Spurs until 2022. It is currently 2017. He's only just signed the contract. He's going to cost you about 80 million quid. Lukaku, his contract runs out in 2019, so you might get him a little bit cheaper, but apparently he's going to sign him a new deal. But Harry Kane, again, falls into the Premier League myth of being an English striker who scores a lot of goals against against the lesser teams. We played them at the start of December. Spurs were the best team I've seen Manchester United play this year, better than Chelsea. But you know what? They had no striker. They put one out. He was called Harry Kane. It just disappeared. Against the better teams, Harry Kane is very, very easy to deal with. And that was shown in the Euros in the summer. Because he's got a rubbish first touch. When the ball's played up to him against good defenders, he gets absolutely stifled. He can't create anything on his own. And when he's against somebody who's decent in the air, he's silenced. He's a flat track bully and he gets a lot of opportunities because the midfield of Spurs is very good and it will break down a team that's not in the top four. But when it comes up against somebody in the top four, he struggles because individually he's not that good. He's not that good. And tell you what, for 80 million, I wouldn't pay 50 million for Harry Kane. So Harry Kane as a replacement for Zlatan. Lukaku as a replacement for Zlatan, no. Aubameyang, Griezmann, yes, I would. No, Griezmann's not a replacement for Zlatan. I don't know what I'm on about. Aubameyang, yes. So we're into number 4. That's where I am at the moment. Lacazette, says Darth Vader. Oh my God, he's yesterday's news. No way. No way, no. No way, no. No way, never. Aubameyang flops on the big stage, says Neo Funk. Yeah, you have got a decent argument there, but not to the extent that Harry Kane and Lukaku do. And it's unfair to level it at Lukaku because he will never play in Europe with Everton. But Harry Kane has played in Europe with Spurs in the Champions League at the start of this year, in the Europa this year, in the Euros in the summer for England. He's a big game bottler. I don't like to dig out players, but I'm talking about my club, Manchester United, who I want to play for them up front and replace Zlatan, who's probably one of the best number 9s there's ever been. And Harry Kane and Lukaku, I'm sorry, you're not even good enough to wipe his arse. Aguero, says Mark Goldbridge. That's not me because I'm live at the moment. No, I like Aguero. I wouldn't take him for because he's a Man City. Callum Smith, we're like mind readers. No, we're not. We're not like mind readers. This is the problem with live. I don't want Harry Kane. Let's keep Harry Kane up. I haven't done it. I didn't pull Icardi in. Callum Smith said Icardi. Icardi's meant to be the next one. Inter Milan. He is currently the Inter Milan captain. He is 24 in... he's just turned 24, in February. He's 5'11". His contract is till 2021. But Icardi's very interesting because he might not have the height of a Lukaku or a Zlatan. And he might not have the build-up play of a Griezmann. But he is fantastic in the box. The fox in the box. Paolo Rossi, if you've ever known anything about history of football, probably the best striker Italy ever had. Paolo Rossi, 1982. Do your look-ups. He's a fantastic striker, Icardi. He is Argentinian. He was offered the opportunity for Italy, but he refused it because he feels Argentinian. The Ultras at Inter hate him, even though he's the Inter Milan captain. So, regardless of the 2021 contract, there is an opportunity to get somebody like Icardi. 5'11", yes. Fantastic off both feet. Fantastic finisher. And very, very strong and tenacious. He's a hothead. The reason the Inter Milan Ultras don't like him is because when they were booed off, he went and gave it to him. He went and gave them some. He was like, come on then. He's the captain of Inter Milan. They will never forgive him. There is a move coming with Icardi, and a lot of people like him. And he's been mentioned a lot on the live comments of the United Stand. My concern with that, and is it a concern? Because Zlatan's proved you can go from Serie A to the Premier League quite easily. I worry about Serie A to Premier League. It's probably more applicable to defenders because no defender from Serie A has ever come to the Premier League and succeeded. But it can be applicable to strikers. But I like Icardi. And you know why I like Icardi? Because when I think about Icardi, Roy Keane comes to mind. Cantona comes to mind. He's got that oomph. He's got that passion. To be the captain of Inter at such a young age, and he's been there for the last year as their captain, is a big achievement. To go toe-to-toe with their crowd and their ultras is a big achievement. But he's a passion merchant, and that is what Manchester United get with Zlatan. It's not what we've really had since the days of Roy Keane. So I do like Icardi. What would he cost? I've got it written down somewhere. Where have I got it? Somewhere. Icardi is he has got a buyout clause, and I think it's around 110 million euros, which is there. It's up there with 90 million pounds for Griezmann, which is a hell of a lot of money. But if Inter are forced to sell because of the politics, I like Icardi. He's a left field. He is left field. I've got to say he's left field. But you know what? Over Kane and Lukaku, every day of the week. He's the same age as them. He's the captain of their club. And he's an absolute passion monster. And he gets it. So, yeah. Jordan Thompson says Lewandowski. A very good striker. I don't think Bayern Munich are going to sell as a cold, to be honest. So, I don't know. Donatali says Neo Funk. Dybala's been mentioned a lot. I looked at Italy. I went with Icardi. Belotti is a very good player. Shouldn't pick your nose when you're live. Shaka Phillips says, what about Lewandowski? Gabbiadini says the great channel. Did very well in the cup final, but I think he needs to do it for a year. But finally, and you know what? I am about the youth. Marcus Rashford. Yes. Marcus Rashford. It'll cost us absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter how much his contract is, because he's a Manchester United player. He's come through our youth system. He is exactly what we need. And if Zlatan stays, as I predict he will, and hope he does, until the end of next season, and Rashford's got another 13 or 14 months under Zlatan, why the hell cannot Rashford, the season after next, just step into them shoes and be our number 9? And what better number 9 than Marcus Rashford through the youth system, one of the best English youth players to be coming through the system in the whole country for the last 4 or 5 years. Fantastic player. I've mentioned Kane, he's 24 more or less. I've mentioned Lukaku, he's 24 more or less. Icardi is 24. Marcus Rashford will turn 20 in October. 20 in October. He's 19 now. He's 5 years younger than Kane and Lukaku. And people are on about signing them. And Rashford, for me, is better than them two. The only reason he's not considered better than them two is because he's not playing week in, week out for somebody like Everton. If he was, he'd be hitting goals in left, right and centre, and he would be the man of the moment. The press would absolutely be all over him. He's 5'11". He's actually the same size as Icardi, who I think could come in and replace Zlatan and be tough. I mean, people say about Rashford he's not tall enough to be a number 9. He's 5'11". Griezmann's 5'9". I think Rashford can be the man. You can talk about your big signings. For me, Kane and Lukaku, they shouldn't be mentioned in the same sentence as Manchester United. Icardi, yeah, left field signing, I quite like that. Aubameyang, if we could do it, but we're not going to do it this summer, and that's the optimum time. Griezmann will sign for Manchester United this summer, but he won't be the replacement for Zlatan, because Griezmann is the replacement for Rooney. Rashford is the replacement for Zlatan. That is where I'm going with this, folks. He is the replacement for Zlatan. But Zlatan has to stay for another year for that to happen. If Zlatan went this summer, it will force us into something. It has to force us into something. Because you can't replace... I mean, people go on about Zlatan's missed chances. Look at the goals he's scored. Look at the games he's won. Look at the goals he's scored. Yes, he's missed chances, but who else can be that prolific? If he goes in the summer, Rashford's not ready. You've got to go and get Aubameyang. If he stays for another year, Rashford's the man. And that's it. But what I want you to do is tell me what you think, because that's what it's all about. I've put you 6 representatives up there. I've put you Griezmann. I put you Aubameyang. I put you Icardi. I put you Lukaku. I put you Kane. I put you Rashford. You might think there's somebody else out there. Get commenting. Let us know. But for me, them 6 are the best at the moment. Aguero is a Man City player. I personally don't want a Man City player at Manchester United. Call me old school, whatever. I don't care. Suarez, don't want him. Gerbil, biting, racist, scum. I don't want him at Manchester United. It stands for more. I would rather have Andy Carroll up front than Luis Suarez, because my club and what it matters more than him. And I don't want that sort of cretin at my club. So Suarez is out. Messi, Ronaldo, we're going to do that next week. I don't think it can happen, but who would you pick? Neymar, we did it at the weekend. I don't think so. I think them 6 are realistic people. If you think there's somebody else, get commenting below. Give us your thoughts on it. Alexander says Dybala. People are on about Muller. Forget Muller. He's not even playing that much for Bayern Munich at the moment. And Muller, Strootman, Strootman's a midfielder. People who keep mentioning Muller and Strootman, you're yesterday's men's and girls people. They were Van Gaal's people. They were Van Gaal's. They love Van Gaal, Muller and Strootman. They're not going to come and play for Mourinho. They're not the sort of player we want. Muller is not a Zlatan. We need an out-and-out number 9 to replace Zlatan. I don't think you go anywhere from Rashford. Ronaldo is interesting, Ryan Fagan. Ronaldo is interesting. He's just turned 32. Zlatan's 35. People say Ronaldo's past it. I'll leave it. The only thing I would say is that Mourinho and Ronaldo don't get on. Can that be done? Who knows? Void Walker's just mentioned Fellaini. And Andy Carroll did play for Liverpool, Colin Cameron, but he wasn't a racist to Patrice Evra, and he's not a dirty, thieving cheat like Suarez. So that was the example. I would take Andy Carroll over Suarez. And Suarez absolutely destroys Carroll as a footballer. I just wouldn't take him. Cavani. Oh, 2 of you mentioned it. Gittan and Sene. Cavani. Don't get me started on Cavani. Didn't want him last summer. Don't rate him. I'd have Lukaku and Kane over him. I don't rate Cavani. I think he's a flat track bully. He did it in Serie A. I'm unconvinced by Serie A. He's done it a bit for PSG. It's a flat track bully league. I don't rate Cavani. And not for what he cost. I don't rate Cavani. I'm sorry, I don't. Get commenting below. Give us your thoughts. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. This is one of my favourite videos I've done this week. Really enjoyed it. Because at some point in the next 18 months, maybe even this summer, but I think in the next, it's not 18 months. Then why say 18 months? Because it's the summer after next. It's 13 or 14 months. We're going to have to replace Zlatan. And I think a big club like Manchester United has to have a contingency plan. Thanks everyone for watching. Tomorrow night, 8:30 every night on the United Stand, we're live. Tomorrow night we will be back. Get commenting below, drop a like, share it if you can, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. But join the debate. I think I have put options up in front of you. I've given you my Mike Goldbridge opinion. Now it's time for you to give yours. Thanks for watching.